Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Another farce is about to unravel at the United Nations, and that is a resolution pushed by the United States of America regarding Gaza, where the United States of America is supposedly the guy in charge of the United Nations, and that is, we'll do what they tell us to do. Which is, we're going to vote, and if that passes, that means the United States of America agreed, obviously, right, they drafted it, agreed with the new steps into Gaza, and maybe the pathway to forming a Palestinian state. But no, because we have here a few guys in Israel, very important people, who say there's no such a thing as Palestinian people. Therefore, what are you talking about? But remember, in 1948, when it was the creation of the modern state of Israel, there were supposed to be two states living side by side. A Palestinian, if I remember, and the other one, a Jewish state. The Israeli army strikes or hits United Nations troops. So Israel fires on United Nations troops, by accident, I'm guessing, ahead of the United Nations vote. I know one country that is in a big row of violations of United Nations, resolutions. Why? As long as you have nuclear weapons, you can ignore everybody. As long as you control the biggest guy in the room, nobody's going to touch you. All right, you know who I'm talking about? If not, well, a lot of work to be done then. First, Putin and Netanyahu hold phone call ahead of United Nations vote on Gaza peacekeepers. The leaders discussed the implementation of the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas, the Kremlin said, supposedly brokered by the US. The US was allowed, as I said before. These guys will do whatever they want in the Middle East. Whatever they want. Who's going to touch them? If I have nuclear weapons and I control the United States of America, nobody will touch me. We'll do it. We'll do whatever they want. And when they will be kind of satisfied with the outcome of their destruction, they will call the Americans in the room and tell them, now you go and tell everybody else that you are in charge here and we listen to you. And everybody's going to do whatever you say, actually what we tell you to say, and everybody will stay in line because otherwise you're going to send your boys and girls to fight for. And now they allow the Americans to come and Trump to break the peace in Gaza. He was allowed to. All right. After the other guys, what was it? Shakila and whatever was the other one. When we had Mr. What's his name? Oh my God, that fat fuck. The former prime minister. Ariel Sharon. Shakila, and Remember that one? Everybody were waiting until those guys did what they did over there, and then they say, "Whoa, we gotta stop." The same here. These Americans waited and they said, hey, we gotta stop. Why? They were allowed to come and say. Whatever they said was ignored by the guys in charge. So, now they had to talk to Putin. Let's see how Putin will react to this one. Russian President Vladimir Putin and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu have spoken over the phone ahead of UN Security Council vote on the deployment of peacekeepers in Gaza. The Kremlin said on Saturday that, and I'm quoting, a thorough exchange of views took place on a situation in the Middle East region, including developments in the Gaza Strip, in the context of implementing the ceasefire agreement and the exchange of detainees. The leaders also discussed Iran's nuclear program and situation in Syria. Netanyahu's office released a shorter statement saying that the Israeli Prime Minister and the Russian President had discussed regional issues. Got it? All right. Earlier this month, the US circulated a proposed resolution authorizing the deployment of the International Stabilization Force ISF in Gaza for a period of at least 2 years and calling for the establishment of the so-called Board of Peace as a transitional governing body. On Friday, these beautiful countries right there, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, Jordan, Turkey and Pakistan, and Indonesia released a joint statement backing the American proposals. Great. Moscow has submitted an alternative proposal tasking the United Nations Security General with drawing up options for implementing U.S. President Donald Trump's peace plan. The Russian mission criticized the American plan for lacking, and I'm quoting, instruments of oversight and control over the stabilization force and not mentioning the two-state solution. The Americans did not mention that. Why? Who owns them? It said that, and I'm quoting, only a truly equal and inclusive approach can guarantee peace. Both proposals are expected to be put to a vote on Monday. Nothing yet. Today is Monday. So, my friends, in 1948, when that state was created, another one was supposed to be created. It wasn't. So, you see, for 80 years, they have been deprived of a state. But you know why? Because the other state claims that the other guys don't exist. And Putin said we need to instruments of oversight and control. Really? What are you going to do when this happens, Putin? Israel fires at United Nations troops. There's no such a thing, United Nations troops. You know, they're peacekeepers from the various countries. The Jewish state, you never hear this attached to any other state. The American state, the French state, no. You know why that is? They love it. Why? They want to make sure that it's only them. But they like our diversity. Said the incident in southern Lebanon was due to poor weather, poor weather conditions, with no casualties reported. UN peacekeepers stationed in southern Lebanon have accused Israel of firing on one of their patrols, criticizing the country for its aggressive behavior. Israel has acknowledged that the incident occurred, but said it was not intentional and was due to poor weather conditions. Have you ever heard about accidental manslaughter? Is that how it's called? Is it punishable if it's accidental? Let's say I see outside and I take as your mom as being a criminal coming to attack me, and according to that interpretation of reality, bad weather, would you say, Emil, legitimate argument, good. Mommy, let's go to the cemetery. Is that how you would think? They all know that they will not be able to do anything about that particular entity as long as that particular entity has control over about 3 states in the world, US, Great Britain, France. They don't need anything else. Germany goes without saying, all right? And that's it. And they have nuclear weapons. That's the second option. That's the second thing. As long as these two stay over there and the mass media does not tell us who they are, which we know, you're going to be propagandized, and the root cause will not be mentioned. Therefore, they're going to divert you to the weather, to God, to whomever, instead of saying, wait a minute, but you have these guys right here in charge. No, they're the good guys. Hollywood tells us. And the universities. So, in the meantime, the same guys say, Palestinian people don't exist. This is the 16th. Israeli security minister. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's hardline coalition partner, Ben Gvir, has claimed that a Levantine Arab ethno-national group was, and I'm quoting, artificially invented. The Palestinian people do not exist, he said. The Security Council will vote Monday on a resolution drafted by the US and backed by several Arab and Muslim countries, which they say offers a pathway to Palestinian self-determination and statehood. In a lengthy X post on Saturday, Ben Gvir, who is also the leader of the ultranationalist Otzma party, claimed that there is no such a thing as Palestinian people, arguing that a nation was an invention without any historical, archaeological, or factual basis. He says, well then, you tell us about the promised land? By whom? For some of us, invented hanky-panky abracadabra? Alright, the collection of immigrants from Arab countries to the land of Israel, promised by an imaginary god, or whatever entity, Humpy Dumpy, does not constitute a nation, and they certainly do not deserve a reward for the terrorism, murder, and atrocities they have spread everywhere, especially in Gaza. And Holocaust is there. You owe me, so shut the fuck up. There you go. The real solution to the conflict was encouraging voluntary emigration. That means you guys, shoo, get the fuck out. It's mine. Promised by my God, my personal God, who incidentally thinks that I am the chosen people, and you're not. That means you are, but we're all equal. Now, with this kind of mentality, how far do you think you can go? And that's not all. Israel Finance Minister issued a similar appeal, urging Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to make it clear to the entire world that the Palestinian state will never be established. The state of Palestine is currently recognized by 157 countries, including 4 of the 5, can you guess who the one is, of the 5 permanent members of the United Nations Security Council, United States of America. Although Netanyahu said in September that there will be no Palestinian state to the west of Jordan River, he had previously distanced himself from Ben Gvir and small, well, bad cop, good cop. But hey, this is not the first time. Top Israeli minister, no such thing as Palestinian people. And this is more, right? The same guy, but this is from 2023, 21st of March. You got it? No such a thing as a Palestinian people. So how can you argue with these guys who tell you that I am better because an entity created by us told us that we are the chosen and better than everybody else? If you're chosen, you know what I mean? I'm your guys and I'm going to be your God. It tells you immediately that you are the favorite son, but we are all his children. There you go, right? And then this guy saying, no, those people don't exist actually. And that land was promised only to us. And the authority, the legitimacy comes from our God telling us that your land, Canaanites and Amorites and all those guys belong to us. And in the name of that, we can everything we want because it's promised to us. But if let's say tomorrow we have the nation of Tsuku and they have a god of Laba Laba, and the Tsuku come and say, hey, actually our god Laba Laba promised us the land you're sitting on. Why aren't they legitimate? Why is your God the God and our Laba Laba God is not? Yahweh versus Laba Laba. You know Romanians what I mean about Laba Laba? I know you know what Laba Laba means in Romanian, right? Laba. Anyway, so here is, my friends. It's based on my God told me that, and everybody should respect it. And anybody else's gods should be ignored because our Laba Laba is the guy in charge. Says who? And the Europeans and the Anglo-Saxons and whomever, the white race, has the Yahweh. Where is your fucking Zeus? Huh? Where is Thor and all those guys? Doesn't sound right to me, but hey, why do I know? And the last one right here. United Nations Security Council to vote on U.S. resolution on Trump's Gaza plan. That's not Trump's Gaza plan. This is the other guy's plan, which means nothing. If if the Americans dare, they write Americans' foreign policy. It doesn't even have to play that way. And let's say tomorrow, the Security Council, they all vote, all right, we're going to establish the Palestinian state, the Jewish state, the IDF must retreat, Who's going to enforce that? I would like to hear. Because eventually, if there's a law, without law enforcement, you can't force me to follow it. Tomorrow people say, you know what, Emil, you have to pay taxes. Make me. And they're going to have the police at your door with the guns. That's how you enforce it. Law enforcement, that's why it's called. Now, who's going to enforce against Israel nuclear weapons and owning the other guys? Who's going to enforce that? Could you? Could you do it? And remember, those guys, they believe that God promised them that land. So if you have this kind of thing, mentality, with God and all that, how do you think they will interpret if someone tries to take their land given by their God? How do you think they will interpret it? Fucking nuclear weapons right now. you, everybody. And probably gonna have a rabbi somewhere telling you that he had a little revelation. like in the Bible, like in the old times. And he had Yahweh coming and telling him that you have to, or maybe you have to defend your land. I gave it to you because those people are bad. And he's going to come and tell us that. What do you think they will do? Man, you got to defend that land, the Jewish state. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.